time I needed money just to feed my children. And I couldn't find nobody. Needed help. Couldn't find help. But when I found Jesus, I ain't had to look for nobody else. My searching was over. But a lot of y'all searching ain't over. I mean, we can play with it if we want to or not. But one thing that God is telling me is that people are comfortable with doing them. And right now, there are so many gospels that's out that people still think they can do it their own way. And I was talking to the Lord, and I said, I pray God send other races to Cornerstone. Not white, not this, that, or just other races. Because the black race is being fooled that the white man wrote the Bible. So a lot of blacks, even people that have been church, been preaching, has turned on the Bible and feel like a white man wrote it so they don't have to live by it. But on half of their job is a white man running it. So I'm just asking God, send some people that want your word, want the truth, because the mindset of a black man or a black woman or a black family, because the man is turning against the truth of God. They got a whole nother mindset. And you know when something's wrong when you can't praise him. I got a great message today. Both of them light. One way smaller, one large. And so many times when people in the church, they said, God wants us to be a light of the world. And a lot of us satisfied with just having a lit light. We satisfied that we come to church. We just got a lit light. But it's calling on how far we're away, I might can't see your light. So we can easily pretend that we saved, but not born again. We can quote a scripture and act like we got it. But all men think they got some kind of light. Philippians, the 2nd chapter. Living holy and holy living. See, a lot of people say they're holy, but they don't live holy. But my Bible talks about living holy and holy living. Meaning, in other words, it's my lifestyle. Philippians, the 2nd chapter, beginning at the 15th verse. When you have it, you can say amen. And it reads, that you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and a perverse nation, among whom ye shine as the lights in the world. Oh, Heavenly Father, Jesus. God, I know what you ask of your people, to be a light that hadn't hidden, that won't be hidden. But God, the church in 2022 has begun to hide their light. God, I refuse to hide mine. I desire for my light to be an agitator of the truth. Not just a light, not just something shining, but to agitate the sinners in a dark world. God, I want to be like Motel 6. I want to leave the light on for some people. And God, because you said in your word that you be lifted up, you said you'll draw all men unto me. God, I come to lift up the name that's above every name. in the name of Jesus. Holy Ghost, have your way with your servant. Holy Ghost, do what you desire to do with me. Holy Ghost, use my voice, use my eyes, use my ears, my mind, my soul, and my body. But have your way, God. Get this word to your people that they just won't be coming in hearing, but they'll become a doer of your word. And God will ever give you the praise. You said if you be lifted up from the earth, you'll draw all men unto me. God will come lift up that name that's above every name. In the name of Jesus. Spirit of the God, Spirit of the living God, have your way. And God, we forever give you the praise. We give you thanks. In your son Jesus' name we pray. And every heart can say amen, amen, amen. You can have your seat. Sin wouldn't be so attractive if the wages were paid immediately. If God said for the wages of sin is death, and it wasn't paid immediately the next time you sin, now I promise you some people stop sinning. God is so awesome how he delivered. You know, I wanted to preach, church, it's time to shine bright like a light. And then I started, church, it's time to shine bright in the world. And all of a sudden, God had a chance to intervene and tell me what he wanted. But let me tell y'all something. My son sent me something that made so much sense to me, and I hope that I ain't stealing it from him, but if I get to use it today and he ain't used it yet, then I don't stole it. But it was not stealing to go to jail like y'all steal tithes and offering. Meaning, in other words, I just used it before he did. Let me read this to y'all. Can y'all just blur me your ears for a few minutes? Don't fool yourself to believe God will give you a direction contrary to his word. Everybody hear that? Don't fool yourself that God will give you another direction that is against the word. In other words, he already tell you, I am the way. So there's no other direction he could give you contrary to the way he's going. And now if you look at the world, everybody's going contrary to God's way. We said God supposed to be having all power and all that. How do we let the COVID make the church shut down? Now people don't even want to go back to church. It's a spiritual thing. You can't find too much spirit from a tube. Okay, if you need healing, if you needed prayer, how he gonna know what you need? He said, forsake not to assemble yourself. But some kind of way we don't find out that we can change God's word. And the church is separated because God has put us as being the body. He made it very clear that he wanted the body to be the body. And now everybody got their own denomination. You know, Baptist, Methodist, M.E. Zion, Church, God, what, this, that, other. You know, all kind of churches. And I looked at something the other day, and it used to be the LGBT. It was the LBGT. In other words, lesbian, whatever. Y'all know how it go. Y'all study that kind of stuff. But it was LBGT. It was only 4 letters. And they had came together to work against the system, to work against God, to work against the church, to work against the government. They were smart. They had already started putting their money together. Church can't come together for nothing, even though God told us to be together. We'll sit and feel like, well, I'm Baptist, I'm Methodist, and the enemy used us to separate. But look at the LBGT. Now it's QIA2S+. They don't grow. You know why? And then all them letters stand for something else. Like L is lesbian, Q is queer. But a queer ain't a lesbian. But a lesbian ain't a transgender. So they got all these different things, but they function to come together to make us go against God. But the church can't come together. And I'm going to tell you what the plus means. There's going to be some more added. Because a lot of the preachers don't start going to the agree with it. So it's going to be some added, but the church can't add together. So God gave me a word today to preach to us. It is time for God people to shine bright in the world today. Y'all will agree to me. Y'all will agree to me. I guess most of y'all ain't looking up here. I'm going to wait till y'all look up here. Because this is how y'all miss the mess. A lot of y'all will agree with me, this ain't bright. But it is a light. And it ain't shining bright, but it's still a light. So you always say, I'm still the light of the world. In other words, just like people said, God said have the faith of a mustard seed. So y'all will use this same scenario with this. Because my faith ain't got to be that big. So my light ain't got to be big in yours. Am I right? Like y'all got some light. Like y'all got. He said, among whom shine as the light in the world. So I decided to see what kind of light God gave me. Big difference. And I said, an agitator, because when you wash clothes, the first thing you do, if you ain't got no good agitator, white clothes ain't going to get white. So the agitator, it agitates the cold to get the dirt loosened up. The light I got, because I'm shining bright, it agitates people that ain't. See, it ain't just a shine. I said agitate. I want to agitate because the blanket, it agitates you. It makes you pay attention that this is just not a light. But he said, shining in the world. He said, it is time for God people to shine bright into the world. That means everywhere I go, every day, every time I wake up, no matter how I'm feeling. See, all y'all looking around watching everybody and you're missing the message. That's why how a lot of y'all going to go where you're going to go, because you don't want to pay attention. That's our problem. We got too many things going on. But God has said, he said, look, he said, if it was dark and I seen a snake, what you want me to tell you? I guess everybody, if I seen a snake, you don't want me to tell you if I seen a snake. So everybody done said nothing. Let me ask that again. If I seen a snake and you didn't see him, what you want me to tell you? Well, why hard for y'all want me to tell y'all the truth about where y'all at in God? See, that's what I'm saying. See, it's certain things y'all will want me to tell you, but when I get in your business and I shine a light in there, you really don't want me to shine there. And then a lot of y'all don't want to come around because every day I'm trying to shine. Because it's a dying world need to see that God still exists. And a lot of people that you deal with church, you can't see it. So if I had the light of the world, would you follow me if the world was dark and darkness? Why the church ain't following me? All of us should be shining and have an agitator that the world can see. When we go sit on our job, they ought to see a light that says, man, you know, they ain't like everybody else. And even though they say that, you know, I go to church, they ain't like when I go to church. Man, you know, they like kind of agitate you. Cause see, they don't cuss, and, you know, and I still cussing. They don't try to lie, and they go tell their boss when they wrong or this and that. What's different about them? But you know they real bright. How many of y'all bright? I'm talking about everywhere you go. How many are not selling for just a little bit? Look at the difference in these two. Look at the difference. But listen to what the scripture said. And the scripture said, it says shine. This don't shine, even though it's a light. And a lot of y'all ain't shining, even though y'all in the church. This is what it said. This is what it said. Let me ask you this question. If I seen a snake, would you want me to judge it? To tell you if it's poison or not? Y'all talk to me. Don't y'all be scared too. If I seen a snake, would you want me to dissect it as a rattlesnake? Then why do the church say don't judge me? If you want me to tell you about the snake. So I should tell you about the snakes in him. Even though we don't want to be known as a snake, we do a lot of stuff that's in darkness. But Jesus, Paul was telling them that you got to shine in the world. And now you can't even tell who's saved. Because everybody confessed to be saved. And we judge a good church by the choir. We judge a good choir by how big the church is, how the church is, or how they let you dress. If they let you dress, you can come to church any kind of way, then that's a good church. See, they are transforming. They are all right. We can kind of do some things. I ain't got to put no suit on, no tie. But everything else you do that the world wants you to do, you'll dress up for. But he said you got to shine always. Let me just say this to you. People say they have changed, but they are still the same. Y'all say y'all on change, but y'all still the same. So what you like? How the world gonna see? How your family gonna see? If I know you still the same when you came here, how your family gonna know you the same? Because I know at home, I know when you go to the house, I know you change. I know you go back to who you are. Okay, the friend that you be around that ain't saved. And you supposed to be saved. What do you tell them about not being saved when you do everything they do? Y'all talk to me. How do you tell them that how I'm living is the way you're supposed to live being saved when they know how you live and you shouldn't be living like that? Because people in the world know how you should be. Let me just give you a laugh right there. I think this is a real good one right here. With the train, all power is in the front. Would y'all agree? Y'all have seen train? The train, the driver, and the light is in front of the train. Everything else. But guess who the head? Guess who everybody really follow? They follow the light. Because the head can't see. The driver can't see if he don't have the light. So why y'all don't follow the light? Why the light ain't the head of your life? Even though he letting you drive. Who running your engine? Ain't that something? Proverbs 20:4 said, if you are too lazy to plow, don't expect the harvest. What you mean, Apostle? You're too lazy to plow. I mean, you're too lazy to work. It's time for God people. I was going to say the church, but then we'll try to translate it like the church is the people. I want to make it just that direct that it's time for God people, so we don't get confused with the church. Y'all hear what I'm saying? It's time for God people to shine bright in the world today. Y'all know they ain't put this light down on. Because I put it down, you might don't see me shining, but that's what I'm talking about. Every day your light should be carried like this. Every day you should, everywhere you go, that everybody ought to see the same thing about you all the time. They shouldn't see you all of a sudden on Friday, because it's the weekend. Or I shouldn't turn this off because I'm around my buddies that ain't saved. We downplay God, but we know we ain't saved. But I'm gonna be like Motel 6. I'm gonna be every time you see me, I'm trying to arrest you. I'm trying. You're gonna think that I'm a police. You're gonna think I'm something. Listen how Paul said it. He said in the 14th verse, he said, do all things without murmuring or disputing. He said, stop complaining. Do all things without murmuring and complaining. And in the church, we complain and murmur so much because they want us to be this, they want us to do this. It's God wants you to do it, ain't us. But I'm going to shine a light for you to be able to see how dark you is. And every time you come to church, every time you come around me, I'm going to be shining. Every time you see me, I'm going to give Jesus a chance shirt. You got on one too, but you're a dove. You ain't got no life in your shirt. Listen what he said. He said, and then in the 15th verse, he said that ye may be blameless. Hold up, wait a minute. Blameless? What you mean blameless? How somebody gonna be blameless? God don't want you to be perfect. Well, why he said right here to be blameless? If you do what God said, you be a light all the time, and you walk in light and walk around people that light, you won't have time to get dirty. But you know, a lot of us take our light and we don't even talk about God around certain people. Because we know they ain't no light, and they don't want no light, and we trying to get dim, we trying to get a little dirty. We know what they want, so we don't mind changing. This is what he said. He said that you may be blameless and harmless. He said the sons of God, hold up. How many receive God? You become the sons of God. Now, if I was asking them, how many of y'all sons of God, because he don't do female and male, how many of y'all are sons? But for real, that you're shining like that. Because light has come. And that was Jesus. So how many of us are shining bright? It's bright, ain't it? I keep seeing my wife duck every time I come around. She ducking because of the light. And what people do when truth comes? They duck. This is what it said in 2 Corinthians 5, 16 and 17. He said, well, henceforth know you no man after the flesh. He said, they don't supposed to know you not Terry after your old man. Now, most people in your family, if you ain't really changed, pull up to your family house. That's what Deacon Simmons used to do. He used to come to church on Sunday. I pull around Emma Stowe. He drop his bill. The bill shoot up in the air. And I pull right up. He come to my cup. What's up, What's up, Bill done shot up all in the back of him. He don't even know the bill done shot. So he was hiding. How many of y'all? But at church, y'all know y'all ain't there. Y'all ain't there. I'm just holding it for me because this is what he's saying that we should shine. This is what he said. He said that you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke. He said in the midst of a crooked, he said in the midst of this crooked world, we still should be strong. Huh? Y'all ain't saying nothing. Ain't that what he said? In the midst of this crooked, perverse, this is what it said. Action proves who someone is. Word prove who they pretend to be. So a lot of us can say, I'm saved. A lot of us can say, I'm the light of the world. But your action. But the priest's word will show you. This is what it said. The hardest part isn't getting your body in shape. The hardest part is getting your mind in shape. It ain't your body. That's why we got problems. We got problems to how to get ourselves in shape. But the LGBTQIA2S+, they don't have no problem coming together. They don't have no problem working the thing. Even though we all ain't the same, we still got a slap going on because we're going to show the world that we're going to steal y'all children. We're going to get y'all children from the computer y'all let them on, them cell phone y'all let them on. We're going to get y'all children because we don't want y'all. Y'all already damaged good. And it ain't that y'all don't like God. We just going to change the generation through y'all children. We're going to multiply through y'all children. They don't want the grown up. But that's what he said. He said, Terry, it's the mindset of the people. It's time for God people to shine bright in the world today. In a dark world, it's time for it to shine. It's time for it to make sure that people can see Christ whether you got a Bible. They can see Christ whether you're going to church. In other words, you got to be born again. That's why I want all white. Because I was born again. But most of us, we know that go to church, we really don't care about born again. He said, yea, through we have known Christ after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more. He said, therefore, if any man be in Christ, that's the problem. He didn't say go to church. He said, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he gonna shine. He didn't say what church to go to. He said, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is. He's new. He ain't said new code neither. What he said? New creature. That means I'm new. My walk is different. My everything different. To me, when I thought about this light, I thought about how God can create a bug with a light on it butt. I said, now that got to be something. I was amazed. Now I had heard about it. But I seen that thing. I said, Trina, what is that? Every time we look around, the bulb was blinking and the light was blinking. I'm like, nah, how can God orchestrate the butt of a bulb to light up? Boy, you know that's some architect, and that means, oh my, I'm talking about it was a different one was lighting up. I'm like, oh, look at that. And you know, Trina wasn't amazed because, you know, she don't been around the world and stuff like that. You know, I'm out of the coat. I seen them boys, oh, boop, boop. I'm like, God, look at that. He told her we should be the light of the world. So if he can put it on the bulb, but can I tell y'all something? Most of y'all ain't shining. Most of y'all ain't got that light. And that's the thing that God is saying. This is what he said. He said, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. See, that's what most people do. They swear they knew, but they still got all the old things. I wouldn't tell nobody I was new if I still smoked. I wouldn't tell nobody I knew if I was still going to the club or going out of town, going to the club, or still whoring like I was. I wouldn't tell nobody I'm new because God said you got to be new. I wouldn't tell nobody I'm new. I'm still watching porn. I wouldn't tell nobody I'm new. I just wouldn't tell nobody because he identified right there that if I'm in Christ, he ain't said nothing about your new clothes. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't like Apostle Simmer, because he make this thing too plain. In other words, what that word you said meant? Simplicity. He said clear. He make this thing like a reality. You know how y'all see them husband and wife cheating on each other on reality show, and then you start thinking, your husband put his phone down wrong, and you said, that's just what that joker did. And you start, from then on, you reality show. You trying to check the phone, check this and that. The man might have just put his phone down, but you don't got all that junk in your head. Y'all ain't got to tell me now. Just smile if that's you. Just smile, we don't fall out with you. But listen what he said. He said, old things are passed away. Behold, he said, look, all things are become new. Now where y'all at? He said that you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God. So that you got to be a son. He ain't said nothing about stepson. He said son. He said without rebuke. He said in the midst of a cricket. Oh boy, God, you done went somewhere then. In the midst of a cricket. He ain't said perverse too, did it? Lord God, why you say that? What about when God don't make no sense? Somebody ought to say something. I asked the question. What about when God don't make no sense? How do y'all take it when he don't make no sense? Boy, y'all crazy. Listen what he said. He said, church people, It's time to shine bright. It's time for us to really shine bright. In a dying world, y'all really think it's gonna get better? Y'all really think ain't nobody gonna go in no school and kill no more children? Do y'all really think that's gonna stop? Them is the same spirit that got people homosexual. It's a spirit, y'all. It is controlling. That boy ain't just wake up all of a sudden and tell me I'm going to go kill all 19 children. Well, I'm going to kill my grandmama first. It ain't happen like that. Them, the one at the exercise place, it ain't just happen like that. That's a spirit. And now no spirit gone. Okay, just think about when you in control and you said, I ain't going to do that no more. When you repent to God and say you ain't going to do that no more, what makes you do it again? Because this is the 199th time you done did that same thing. You finna bust 200, so you already know it ain't nothing that you said, because we say a lot of stuff with our little nasty mouth and we don't mean it. Just like I used to tell women I love them. They were lust, but they like to hear it. So I told them, shoot, you like to hear it, ain't no problem. Let me get that out there. Girl, you special. We got to look at this thing. He said, in the midst of a crooked and perverse world, he said, among whom ye shine as a lights in the world. So I ain't got nothing out of context. This is what we should be doing. Every day I should be shining. My children should see. I told the men this morning, let me tell y'all what messed y'all up. Y'all be trying to protect y'all children, but when you look in the mirror, you ain't no better. How you gonna teach them children when you look in the mirror and you hate who you see? And then we try to keep them close to us when we know we ain't nowhere. What you ought to do is get your face wiped up and get the slide off your face, look in the mirror and say, I'm pleased with what I see. Now let me teach my child. You can't teach your child when you all messed up. Then you know spirit transfer, so you got to think when you got them in your arm, what's going on. This is what it said first in John 1, 4 and 5. It said, in him was the life. And the light was the light of men. So if a man ain't got God lighting in him, he really ain't got no light. I know y'all don't believe because y'all still alive. We go to horn around here and do what we want to do, and then you know what? We don't have no respect for who God done gave you. That's another thing bad. When you disrespect when God done gave you somebody, and you know that person always told you right, now you don't even want to hear that person. Why? Some don't creep in. Some don't came in. It don't change your thought pattern. Listen what it said. He said, in him was the life, and the life was the light of men. The light shining in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. How is darkness comprehending you if you always got a light? How darkness gonna take over me when I always got a light? I'm always in the Word. I'm always around the Word. How can darkness overtake me? I got to be gonna put my light somewhere. I got to not let the word order my steps. I got to be doing my own thing. And you know what? And I got to be comfortable with it. I'm going to tell you what I do. If I know my light was down, come here, Mitch. If my light was getting dim, I know one thing. I know Mitch got that light. Boy, how I'm going to get this thing straight, Mitch?
We're going to follow the light.
You got the light?
I got the light.
Let's go then. You got to act like you know where you're going now.
I'm following the light.
Well, you got to, the light wasn't going that way. Yeah, there you go. Everywhere I'm meant to go. Because I ain't got no light no more. I'm in darkness. I'm acting just like I'm Stephen. I'm trusting that he don't run me in there. And the problem is, when you're in darkness and you got a spirit, man, I don't want to be around you, man. I mean, we get to ourselves, and the enemy says, idle mind is the devil's workshop. Because now you ain't got no light, you in darkness, you know you're in darkness, and you ain't even trying to get out because I got your mind. I got your mind. I don't brought you back to the old man. Listen what he said. Listen what he said. He said, look how he said it. He said, and the light shining in darkness, and the darkness couldn't comprehend. The darkness couldn't come in. No matter what come after me, because I got a barrier around me, it ain't nothing but light. Can't nothing get to me. He started telling about the light. In John 1:7-8, he said the same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. Said might believe, but we know all of them don't believe. We know all of them don't believe. Y'all know all of them don't believe. He said he was not that light. This John the Baptist. He said, I ain't that light. He said, but was sent to bear witness of the light. Y'all hear that? He said he was sent to bear witness of the light. Me and Pastor was talking in Isaiah 44. He said, in the 8th verse, he said, fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from the time, and have declared it? You are even my witness. That's what John said. I'm a witness. Where John got it from? He got the light out of Isaiah. He said, listen, he said, is there a God beside me? Since y'all are following something else, since y'all won't walk in the light, is there a God? Is there anybody can make the sun come in and the moon go in, darkness and light change, rain, storm, earthquake? Is there anybody? Is there anybody can put a baby in water and let them live? Is it anybody? That's what he said. Church people. It's time to get born again. It's time to shine. It's time to stop being in darkness and think don't nobody see you. It's time to stop. It's time to stop doing sin and coming to here and acting like you still all right, like you still anointed. It's time to stop it. That's what God said. It's time to put a stop to that foolishness. This is what he said. He said, is there a God beside me? He said, yea, there is no God I know not mine. You hear what he said? He said, they that make an graven image are all of them vanity, are there the delectable thing shall not profit. He said, are their own witnesses, they shall not know that they may be ashamed, who have formed a God out of mortar and graven image that is profit for nothing. Say you don't create your own God. You don't create your own thing. You got something you witness about. How good your job is. How good your car is. How much money I got in the bank. Where I'm going. I'm going to school. I'm going this and that. You can't even pass God classes. Talking about going to school, pass them first. This is what he said. He's talking to us because he wanted to know. He's telling this. He said, look, he said, he was not that light. That's why he said he's telling us to shine in the world. John was not that light, but he went out there every day and preached that same word, repent. And now y'all don't want to hear nothing about repent. This is what he said. He said, but all was sent to bear witness of that light. He come back in John 8:12. He said, then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that follow me shall not walk in darkness. He said, he that follow me shouldn't go back to sin, shouldn't go back to hiding, shouldn't go back to creeping, shouldn't go back to not wanting to be around a brother or a sister. You got something to hide when you don't want to be around your brothers and sisters. You got something to hide. I don't care what you say. You can say, I ain't doing that. I just want to be by myself. When God called you to be by yourself? Don't fool yourself to believe God will give you a direction contrary to his word. Don't fool yourself that God leading. This is what it said in Acts 2:40. He said, and with many other words did he testify and exalt, saying, save yourself from this perverse, this untoward generation. He said, save yourself. The same thing he said right here. He said, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. He said, I want you to shine. Then Jesus come on here and said, in Philippians 2:5, he said, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. Where the mind you got? When Christ's mind was in darkness. When Christ walked and talked and did how he wanted to do, he said he left himself to be an example that y'all should follow. And now the church is doing anything. Y'all ain't got to say nothing. He said, whom being in the form of God, thought it was not robbery to be equal to God, but made himself of no reputation. Now all we want to do is get a reputation. Child, you see my charger. You seen the pipes on my charger. Man, you see my shoe. Y'all didn't see that suit I wore. You didn't see that suit I wore to church? And y'all know what bad about it? This is how you got the young people. Y'all want to do everything in school, but don't want to do nothing in church. Well, this is what I want to do. I like this because you know why you like it. It's darkness. You like darkness. You don't like light. You don't want to please God. You want to please yourself. That's why it said, in the midst of a crooked and a perverse nation, among whom you shine as a light. But when you want to do you, when you get to school, can't see, and then you tell the church, oh, I talked about God today. Ain't none of y'all blame. I put that over there, y'all, I get some blame. This thing, that means I'm shining bright. I ain't got no hiding. This is where the church is messing up because now the church don't want to shine. The church want to compromise. The church want to let praise dance go on, or rap songs and all that stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with God. He said hymns and songs. That's what he tell us. But now we got our own mindset. Man, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I just can't stop shining. This is what he said. He said, made no reputation and took upon himself the form of a servant. Jesus became a servant for us. And now we don't want to serve him. Or we don't want to serve his dad. If I ask most of y'all, who y'all served before y'all came here to church this morning? Or I ask you who you served yesterday. Who got most of your time yesterday? Come on, y'all just think about it. Who got most of y'all time after prayer? After you left prayer, who had your time? Who did you serve? How did you serve him? Told you I ain't letting anything go on here. This is what it said. He said, and Jesus spake again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that follow me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. He said, now if you follow me, I know your light shining. I know your light just showing off. What you said, come on and ride with me a little bit. In John 12, 35 and 36, you can leave your Bible alone if you want to. He said, then said Jesus unto them, he said, yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while you have the light. Walk while you have the word. Walk while you got somebody preaching to you. Walk while somebody's talking to you. Walk while somebody's talking to you. And stop trying to walk alone when you know you don't know nothing too much about God. When a lot of y'all don't have a relationship with God and you start doing you drop the word and go on. That's what you did. You ain't dropped me because I'm still up. Y'all drop God and you don't want to hear nothing about God. And I don't care if you listen to a little gospel every now and then, a little kind spirits, all that stuff. I don't care who you listen to. That ain't doing nothing when you ain't got God in your heart. Ain't no time to play with him. Walk over the Bible, stump over the Bible, and then you go back to your little nasty self. This is what he said. He's talking to us because he want to know. He said, yet a little while is the light with you. You hear what he said? A little while. He gone now. He said, walk while you have light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walk in darkness know not whither he goes. That's why I said, Mitchell, let me link up with you, baby. I already know I'm got a little dark right now. Miss, I need your light, baby. I know you walking right. I know you talking right. I need some help, man. But you know that when he got your mind, he got you in darkness, you don't think about that light. You call everybody but light. Because you want to have a conversation that somebody think like you think. That's what I still ain't figured out. How do everybody that lead a church hook up? They were never together while they were at church, but everybody hook up now. I ain't figured that out yet. Maybe somehow God will show me in the future. This is what he said. He said, these things speak Jesus, departed, then he hid himself from them. He said, now I'm warning y'all, but I'm going to hide from you now. Since you dropped me, I'm going to hide from you. Now you're trying to look for something that's hid from you. This is what he said. Now, I love it right here in 1 John 1 and 5 and 7. He said, this then is the message which we have heard of him, which Apostle some had to preach to you, and declared unto you that God is light. That God is light. He said, I declared unto you. That means I'm telling you, I mean it with my heart. I'm declaring it unto you that unto you that God is light. And in him, y'all got it in your Bible. Don't act like you ain't got it. And in him. At 1 John 1 and 5, you won't put it on your eyeball or put it on your face or your phone or something. He said, declare unto you that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. He said, ain't no darkness at all. So if you got any darkness going on with you, you need to repent. You need to get yourself right. And I ain't talking about sitting there and acting like you. Like, I'm going to get it right when I go home, or I'm going to get it right. He said, in him there's no darkness at all. So I know that a lot of y'all be getting up repent, so there's got to be some darkness in y'all. So now y'all might not have put the Bible all the way down, but it's kind of low. It ain't in your eyesight. It ain't walking with you. You ain't looking at it regular. There's a lot of us in here that ain't doing nothing with this no more. We more concerned about our social life. We ain't concerned about our children. We trying to get us a social life. If he got somebody, I'm going to get somebody. If she got somebody, I'm going to get somebody. You ain't concerned about that. I need me a husband. I need me a wife. We ain't concerned about what God said and how God said it. I'm telling y'all, it's time to put up this. He said, this then is the message which we have heard of him. We have heard of Jesus and declared unto you that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. And if we say we have fellowship with him and walk another way or do other things that are against God, he said, and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. Not that you don't know the truth. You do not the truth. You don't put the Bible down. Most of us in here know what we should be doing, but because of our decision to be in darkness, we walk away from truth. Y'all ain't got to sit there. I'm glad you're looking like you're looking. Just like you're looking. That let me know I'm on the right track. And I ain't changed the gas speed. I'm putting the feet to the pedal. All this crazy stuff we got going on, and God don't want that. Listen what it said. When you know you're not alike, it said being quiet when you should be speaking. Here it is, they talking about your God, talking about God ain't this and God ain't that, and you sit there like you got a zipper on your mouth. Well, script the zipper. Script that can't get zipped up no more. But when you in darkness, you've been around darkness, you can't say nothing to them people. God give us the right to be the light of the world. And now we don't put ourselves up. He said, being quiet when we should speak. Here I am, I'm working with people. And they saying they with God. And all of a sudden, I don't say nothing to them. How? How? When we supposed to be shining? Huh? What light you got? What light you got? Y'all tell me which one y'all. Tell me one was y'all. Point out which one your light. Tell me when you walking around, when you at your job, when you around your family, which one do you be? Do you be an agitator and try to get things clean, or do you just be cordial? Which one of y'all? Don't nobody want to tell who they is, though. I know what that means. I know what that means. I can figure that out. It don't take a rocket science to figure that out. Y'all kissing cousins. He said, going along with the crowd. We talking about the light should be shining. A person in the light should never go along with the crowd. When they talking about anything go on and the church ain't this and Jesus ain't that, and you sit right there and act like it ain't nothing. Denying the light that Jesus don't came. Boy, if I ain't know no different, I think this ministry just opened up. This is the first service. All y'all sinners. That's what he said. He's talking to us. He said, let sin dim your life. Because you might have been one time like this, but the stuff you in now, you still ticking. You still coming to church just like you was. You still praying out loud, motivation speaker, everything. But you just a dim. Look at that, can't see nothing. But you're still in church. It must be, this is a great message right here. Whenever the church is this silent, and I see y'all ain't got no light in your hand, like Samita said, Jesus. Yeah, she said it so profound. I be talking to her, she said, Jesus. That's her testifying. You got me, Pastor. You got me. This is what he said. He said, not explaining our light to others. Not explaining why I'm like I am. We try to make it look like it's Cornerstone. See, our church don't let us do this. Our church don't let us date. Our church, no, I thought you was a part of it. I thought you was a believer too. We talking about what the Bible said. You don't tell them what the Bible said. Well, the Bible said this, and this is what we should be doing. Well, Jesus made wine. Show me that. Jesus drank wine. Show me that. Because that's what they do. They telling you that the homosexual thing ain't in the Bible that many times. And now I want y'all to remember this now, because they're going to tell y'all this. Y'all listen? They said, Jesus never talked about homosexual. Ask me why, Jeff. First, he talked about it in the beginning of the Bible with God. When he said when a man should leave his wife and cleave to that, and he said, I created male and female, he talked about it then. Okay? When we come over to Matthew, he talked about marriage again. A man should be lovers of their own wife, and a wife should be lovers of their own husband. He's talking about marriage again. I ain't even going to Rome. Y'all seen any cat try to have sex with a dog? They know better. Y'all ain't got to say nothing. He said, ignoring the needs of others, being a beacon of truth. Don't shut your light off from the rest of the world. All the day, all the time. My wife always tell me, all these preachers, when they first meet you, they think they just like you. Until they find out that every day is this how you is. So every day I'm shining. You know what they do? The phone start, car stop. They don't want to be around me no more. Because, see, they thought I was going to eventually turn my light off. I don't control the switch. He called me. I'm born again. I don't know how y'all were never born again. I don't know how y'all turn your life off. Because I think, now don't y'all get a message. I want y'all to listen to me because I know y'all will think I'm going back on something. I think once saved, always saved. Y'all know I said once saved and always saved. But you got to listen to why I said that. Because I think once you saved, you'll never go back. So the first thing was you ever saved. Because a lot of y'all say y'all was saved, but a lot of y'all went back. What you said? What you said? Me? You said dog. That what you just said? Cat. I don't want to agree with you. We be playing with words and stuff, talking about dog, with cat then. You got that, be playing with what it said. He coming in Matthew the 5th chapter. Look, come on, y'all ready to ride. Matthew the 5th chapter, in the 10th verse, he said, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness. You keep your light on. He said, righteous say, for there are the kingdom of heaven. And here we be talking about the kingdom, and he said, you being persecuted. He ain't saying stop shining light on sin and stop convicting or condemning people. He ain't said that. That's what John came to do. John said repent. And Jesus said repent for the kingdom of heaven. What they were repenting for? They went into the darkness. The kingdom ain't for everybody. This is what it said. He said, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you. Ain't none of y'all getting persecuted. Who in here getting persecuted for God's sake? Who in here somebody coming up again at your job, at your house, scraping your husband, scraping your wife, scraping your children? How many are being persecuted for his sake? Huh? Don't put your hand up, just lie. We ain't talking about that one time when you scraping somebody. We ain't talking about that. We talking about lifestyle. See, because all of us got one. That's how the world gonna see. When the world see us every day they persecute us for righteous sake. I ain't got no other mess. I ain't got no mess to beg you for no money. I'm trying to get you saved. Because if you ain't born again, you ain't going to heaven. Stop listening to all them preachers talking about he picked the best flower. And everybody dying, you know good and well that joker down there did not live a life of God. But the preachers don't mind lying. They don't mind lying. They ain't got no light. I ain't through. Let me put this light on there. Well, I can't see that. That thing, I have to take it for real. He said, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Y'all ain't heard them? They ain't told y'all about me? They ain't talked to y'all about me? What y'all said when they were talking about me? That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That means it's something to fight for. When the joker says something wrong about Jesus, we got to argue with him. And I better go on and rationalize and go on and cut the conversation. He said, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, Apostle Simon. For so persecuted they the prophet which were before you. And they told them, said they put him in prison one time and said, look at him, Terry. You better not go back out there preaching about Jesus no more. I stepped right out the jailhouse preaching about him again. How many of y'all gonna do that? How many of y'all gonna do that when your friends and your family members cut you off? How many of y'all still gonna tell them, look, I ain't got to come back to your house. I'm still gonna preach about Jesus. And then what's bad about it, a lot of y'all God don't say or gave you the word that you can go home and help your mama and your dad and your sister and brother. But when they die, you got to sit there and punish me to know that I ain't said nothing to them about God. I had the antidote. I had the vaccine. And I ain't said nothing. I ain't pointed to Jesus. And now they're dead. And all the thought gonna come in your head is, they going to H-E-L-L. And I ain't said nothing. Don't try to bother with God. Save my mama now. It's too late. Save my dad. It's too late. He brought you here to give you that. This is what it said. He said, the 13th verse, he said, you are the salt of the earth. Y'all hear that? But if the salt had lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? How many of y'all salted? Or how many of y'all done lost y'all savor? How many of y'all done lost what you had when you first got saved? You know how it is when you first got saved, Sean. You want everybody to know about Jesus. When I got saved, the milkman came by the house. I was trying to say, man, you all right? You all right with God? So a lot of y'all done got comfortable. That y'all don't have to talk about him no more. I can imagine if I go home and start acting like I ain't saved no more. I'm going to have to find me an apartment. I'm going to have to sleep in the truck. I'm going to have to do something because, Lord have mercy, Trina ain't going to let me rest. She's going to tell me about all the things, what I don't say all the things, I don't preach, I don't do that. And then y'all husband and wife come home and y'all try to separate. I said, come in, nigga. Come, pull right over here. Let me talk to you. Okay, you don't want to come in the bedroom? I'm coming in the living room. You're going to have to leave him because we're going to talk about Jesus tonight. We're going to talk about Jesus today. We're going to, I'm husband or wife. Come on. You go to the same church I go to, and you tell me you're going to act like this. You tell me you're going to keep him being in darkness. You tell me this. Well, listen, I'm going to apostle. I don't care if you get mad. That's what you said. But y'all going to kiss up with him. Well, baby, we're going to let God work it out. Let me come and show you this. Let me show you this. He said, where shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing. So really what God said, if you ain't the salt of the world no more, and you was the salt of the world, you ain't good for nothing right now. So all the things you got that you are purging in, you ain't good for nothing. And you ain't going to be good for nobody else neither. Because real men love Jesus. Don't y'all exempt yourself, women. This is what he said. He said, but to be cast out and to be trampled under the foot of men. So when you go out there back in the world, you ain't gonna be, ain't gonna do them walk over there. You are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill, cannot be hid. How y'all hide what y'all got? Come on, all y'all. Because y'all came in the morning. My wife had to motivate y'all in the morning. Y'all came in here with the pit bull faith. You know what the pit bull faith come out, Ella? They don't have a rough last night. Ain't hard to say. We had church Friday, so it had to come between Friday. You come to prayer Saturday, had to come after you left prayer. Jesus. This is what it said. I'm going to get y'all out of here because I know y'all already bothered. You can look at your body language. That's the body language of a sinner. Yeah. When y'all see somebody walk like that, Frankenstein, that's it. That's it. It's self-explanatory. If a joker start walking like that, you know that Frank. Am I right? Y'all don't call him Batman. So when you start looking like you looking, I know who you is, sinner. This is what it said. It said, you are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick. And it give light unto all that is in the house. Well, it should be bright in here. Let's get rid of them lights. When they do the seed sowing, they say 100-fold, 60-fold, 30-fold. I'm changing the watts, the watt bulb. They got 100-watt Chris, 60-watt Chris, and 30. All 30, raise your hand. All 60, raise your hand. All 100, raise your hand. But if I ain't pay no money for this, I'll throw this phone down, I'll throw this light down and bust it on the floor. All the stuff I don't talked about it, y'all ain't agreed on nothing. Now all y'all say y'all 100 watts. Y'all should have been jumping up. Y'all should have been jumping up. I'm shit real. You a visitor, they lying here. There ain't no shame. They lying. I'm at 100 watt. Shoot, 100 watt wood. But let me show you where your 100 watt is. He said, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good work and glorify your Father which is in heaven. The 8th chapter of John said, then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He's telling us that because he wants us to follow him. But we don't really want to follow him. I know how y'all feel. I know how y'all feel because I have felt like that before. Being in church and seemed like they were just preaching about me. And I said, boy, Apostle Dennis, boy, you whooping me bad. But let me just look at John 3:19. He said, and this is condemnation, that light has come into the world. So when Jesus was on the cross and died, light has came into the world. So all y'all that walking in darkness, you remember I said, y'all say y'all 100 what? So that means ain't all y'all raise y'all hand, ain't no darkness. Y'all want me to ask y'all again? Because a lot of y'all lied. There's no darkness at all. I'm 100 what? I'm doing every 100% what God say. Do I need to ask that again? Do I need to give y'all a chance to get right? Huh? I ain't going to do it. Because you should have stopped lying the last time. You should have been lying the last time. He said, and this is the condemnation. See, light come. This is what it said. He said, this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world. And men love darkness. You got your light in your hand. But who can see me? And the thing that I know that y'all can't see, because I know where all y'all be at. So wherever y'all church people be at Cornerstone, I go the opposite. Because I know where y'all house at, I know where y'all at, and I know the road. So I ain't coming down to Manatee if I'm going somewhere on Saturday. Not if I'm 8 to 12. Might be about 1:30. I know it clear there. Y'all got to say, now look what it said. I got to turn my black back on. Y'all they going to make me going dark. He said, and this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world. And men love darkness rather than light because their deeds, because they things they do, because where they go, who they be with, is evil. And that's why people don't let me preach places, because I will shine the light. It's too much. It's too many preachers preaching a gospel that he know their people ain't doing it. Because I'm telling y'all, if any of y'all was to decide to be gay, the best thing you can do is change your membership when you decide. Because I ain't going to have no message just for you, but I'm going to try to preach you every chance I get, though. You won't be comfortable. You better not come in here with no boots on and all that stuff like that on. Not up in here. You better come in here like you just as girly. And let me ask a question. This is what it said. Ain't going on in this house. This is what it said. He said, for everyone that doeth evil hated the light. Why y'all think people ain't coming here? Don't nobody want to hear this. Too real. This too real. This trying to get people to heaven and not saying you going to heaven because you go to church. Ain't nobody going to heaven, not even me, just going to church. I ain't going to church because I'm a preacher. He talk about false prophets. So if I ain't right, I'm a false prophet. They telling y'all going to go to heaven going to church. You ain't going to heaven because you pay tithe neither. But you're going to be cursed on to pay them, though. He said, I'm getting y'all out of here now. Y'all better stop. He said, for everyone that doeth evil hated the light. That's why they ain't coming around you, Mitch. That's why they ain't coming around you, Jeff. That's why they ain't coming around you, Sash. That's why they ain't coming around you, Evangelist. I ain't being around no darkness. You ain't going to drop them dead seeds off on me. Shoot, what that grass we got at our house? They cut the grass, and when you cut the grass, other seeds drop off it, and then you see the other centipede grow off out the grass. I'm like, oh, so that's the way they go. So if you drop your seed off on me, where they going to grow at? He said, for everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither come to the light, lest their deeds should be reproved. So that's why a lot of y'all don't come around. Some of y'all love the church. Well, come around then. Let us see you a little more. He said, but he that doeth the truth come to the light, that his deed may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. Just like a word, wrought in God. Boy, I got so much over here. Look at him. Let me go on and get there. So as I close, 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. I love to put a great period on my message. My title says, Satan blind, but God give light. Satan blind your mind. See, that's why a lot of people won't come in. That's why a lot of people left it. They can't come back because Satan had blinded their mind. What he really did, Jabba, he turned their light off. They still got the light. You know, like I still got some trophy when I play basketball, but they ain't about nothing. I still got them. But I ain't got no hoop in me no more. But look at that. God let you still have your light. You know that I used to be saying that God the only one to fire you and still let you work. There's a lot of preachers working and preaching, but they already fired. God ain't got to, he ain't got to do like that. Look at my grandbaby. Talk to him, baby. Talk to the Lord. I know y'all grown people gonna move, and you know good and well you ain't got no life. Jesus. This is what he said. He come on and talk to us. He said, therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not. Ain't that what Paul was talking about? That thorn in the side. He said, my grace is sufficient. Paul, don't act like it's that bad. See, a lot of y'all going to act like y'all don't need to repent. But go on and act like that. That one day they said Paul, he wasn't caught up on himself. Paul was talking to God. A lot of y'all sitting down here still. A lot of y'all need to repent. Y'all ain't in no place where y'all don't think yet. God was saying the light. We don't want, see, you might walk out of here and die today, and you'll sit right here and act like you're a sojourner. I told you about me. Every time the pastor used to open up a line, I was in the line. Because I didn't want to die and then miss God when I heard a rhema word. No, ain't nobody preaching like this. They trying to get $5 out your pocket. Take your $5 and go to hell with you if you want to. I'm trying to get that $5 that you can get grace in your life. You know grace is 5 letters. That's what it said. He said, faint not. He said, but have renounced the hidden things. Said, have renounced. That means got rid of. How many of y'all have renounced? Well, I know y'all ain't hidden the hidden thing of lying. So a lot of y'all repent when you put up near that. Some of y'all can't get to repent. You that good. This is what it said. He said, but renounce the hidden thing of dishonor. Not walking in craftiness, trying to fool your leader that you got light. That is 100% too. 100-watt bulb. Lord, how much? I ain't even got a 100-watt bulb. I ain't gonna lie neither. This is what it said. He said, not handling the word of God deceitfully, but by the manifestation of the truth, commanding ourselves to every man conscience in the sight of God. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? He said, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. He said, my gospel be hid. That's what Job was saying. He said, every day, everywhere I go, that's all he was saying. That's why I ain't saying that. I know what he was talking about. Because everywhere he go, he should be shining the same way. He should have the same attitude regardless of preaching or ain't preaching. Like I told him, I think he got it. God just showed him, you can't get comfortable. You can't get beside yourself. Every chance you get, meditate on me. Every chance you get, let your light shine. A lot of us going to go to hell in darkness. And God started sending a lifeline, started reaching out. He said, sometimes we got to pull them out the fire. And everybody get mad when we trying to pull y'all out the fire. And you know you're in darkness. You ain't coming out on your own. He said, but if our gospel be hid, y'all hear, it is time for God's people to shine bright in the world today. He said, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world has blinded the mind of them that believe not. Y'all hear that? And then look what he said. He said, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. For we preach not of ourselves, but Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your servant, for Jesus' sake. Y'all hear that? For God has commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shining in our heart, to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. He's telling us this. This is why God sent this message. He's telling us that we are not the light of the world. We're not trying to shine and shine bright around family member, whoever, I don't care who, a co-worker, church, whatever. He's telling us this. Listen to what it said. Y'all got to listen to what it said. He said, for God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness. At the beginning, darkness couldn't comprehend light. He said, for God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness has shining in my heart. He said, our heart. But I guess some of y'all, he ain't got there yet. He said, has shining in the heart to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. He said, through his word, I gave you the knowledge. In the midst of a crooked and a perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. God trying to tell us something. He said, for we have this treasure in earthly vessels, that the exceeding of the power may be of God and not of apostle Simon. My light shining should be of God and not of apostle Simon. Satan blind, God give light. Do y'all hear what the scripture said? Do y'all really hear what it said? But if our gospel be hidden, it's hidden from them that are lost. Y'all choose to hide it. It ain't hidden from y'all. Y'all choose to hide it. He said, in whom the God of this world has blinded the mind of them that believe not. You just don't want to live right. It is time for God's people to shine bright in the world. Don't fool yourself to believe God will give you a direction contrary to his world. And with many other words did he testify, exalted, saying, save yourself from this untoward generation. He said, save yourself. Lord, how much? God, you something else. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our heart to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. So he gave us the light that will help us to shine. God, I thank you for being God all by yourself. And realizing, but the light leads everything. I love God. God gave me the right to be the light of the world. Men love darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil. For everyone that do evil hated the light. That's why people ain't gonna run to this church, because we're not trying to get your money. We're trying to make sure you know Christ. And when you do die, we ain't got to make no lie up, because it got to be somebody else, because I preach. I ain't put my brother and sister in heaven, so I know I ain't put none of y'all in heaven. So it ain't happening. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither come to the light, lest his deed should be reproved. But he that doeth the truth come to the light. God, I thank you for being God all by yourself. I thank you for not playing and giving me nothing, nobody would play with me, and give me a word that make me feel like I'm saved when I know good and well by the scripture I'm not saved, because he tell you the ways of sin is death and the gift of God is eternal life. Should we continue in sin that grace abound? It said God forbid. And now everybody trying to act like God trying to make you a better sinner. No, he sent his son to die for sin. So he had no intent for you to stay in sin. No intent. Time for God people to shine bright into the world. Somebody get the mic.